Cheryl? Here. Heather?
Present.
Jan? Here. Susan? Here. Tiffany? Here. And Verna? Here. I'd like to welcome people who have come to join us tonight. Approval of the agenda. Do we have questions or concerns regarding the agenda?
Move to approve.
Second. Susan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, minutes of June 22nd, 2021. Questions, concerns? Motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Who's that? Jan. Second?
Heather, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I think I abstained. Right?
Yes.
Oh,
What was that?
I abstained.
Oh, sorry.
Because she wasn't here.
Right. Thanks, Tiffany.
Thank you.
I'm so used to seeing you on video, I always assume that you're Okay, call to audience. You have been provided with our list of procedures and policies regarding public comments. We do limit you to 3 minutes, and please, if you've had a chance to read the rules, proper behavior. Is there anyone who has a comment or a question regarding any item on the agenda? Okay, thank you. Financial report, Cheryl?
I have in front of you the check register for June as well as the financial statements for June 30th. Is there any questions, comments? Okay, we need a motion to approve the expenses for June of $110,049.28.
so moved. Heather?
Second, Jan.
Okay, this will be a roll call vote. Tiffany?
Tiffany, yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Jan?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
And Cheryl?
Yes.
And Verna?
And we now have the proposed line item budget. This is a draft for our 2022 budget. And I'll let Rebecca present it.
Put in you.
Okay. Page. So, this is the first draft of the budget, and basically, the key thing to be aware of is that we still make a few edits as we go until we approve it officially in October. But if you get to page 19, that coincides with individual cell numbers, so we put it there as kind of a way to track certain expenditures that we'll have that we want to make sure we notate. But if you have any questions about any part of the budget, let me know. On page 14, you can see we do have a breakdown from a percentage standpoint. The staffing and fringe accounts for 56% of the budget, operations is 31%, and materials is 10%. And it aligns pretty closely to last year's budget. I don't think there are any major changes in it. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer anything. So it aligns pretty closely with that 2015 study that was done by the board. Yeah, and what that study was basically the breakdown of percentages. So we are definitely following what's fairly standard in public libraries. Our biggest budget item would be, of course, our staffing. Right. Also, Cheryl and Heather were sitting on that committee along with Kathleen. So we met earlier and went over this first pass of the budget.
And just a comment on our breakdown on our percentages on page 14 at the bottom corner regarding staffing, operations, and materials. I contacted Michigan Library Association, and the IT guy there was very kind and ran some numbers for me. And he ran numbers for class 4, which is our size, our community size for the library, and then for all the libraries in Michigan. And our staffing in fringe is actually below, because that runs between 61 and 63 on average, and these were all for 2020. Our operations are right, the average was around 28%, so we're pretty close to that. And materials were running between 9 and 11, so we're right within the average on that. And then, of course, we also have, this isn't a 100% budget because we have contingency built in. We have another, if you look at the last page of the budget, you'll see that we have a contingency of $44,000 built in.
And let me just make one correction, Cheryl. It was Joe Hamlin from the Library of Michigan that you spoke with.
Oh, Library of Michigan.
So I just want to make sure, yeah.
Okay.
Any questions then about the first pass of the budget for 2022?
Good job.
That's a lot of work.
Communication from Mrs. Manu. We have the items, she was at our last meeting, and page 22 and 23 is our response as a board to the patron. And on page 24 would be the follow-up letter or email that she actually sent back to us. There has been one additional communication from Tiffany to the patron, and we didn't get that in the packet, but we'll add that next month, so we have that. Any questions, comments? Okay. The next item, strategic board objectives. Okay, we have a lot of pages here from the strategic plan. I hope you've all had a chance to go through it. Do you have questions or concerns? Conversation?
One thing, from my perspective, I'm not really sure where I fit into a lot of this stuff. I mean, I would love to get going on it, I'm not really sure.
I can respond to that. So obviously, the number one objective is the Board of Trustees' objectives to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And the one implement board training, Verna and Jan are basically completed with that, correct? Because I don't think we updated that, so that's basically done. I think we had your process, and I think that was what we were waiting for, and I think we have that. The next one was to develop a recruitment program for trustees, Tiffany and Heather. So basically, the two of you can start working on that.
Okay.
Now, I will say, when you look at the strategic plan for anybody in the audience, if you're looking at it, anything that says 0 to 2 years, we basically covered most of them, but COVID hit. So some things we might still be holding off on or waiting to accomplish. Then we're starting to work on the 3 to 5 year objectives, but we are a tad behind just because of COVID last year. And then, Heather, the one that says 1.5, since you are now you're the head of that committee, so to speak, for advocacy, I see that as if you just document what your process is, like how you do what you do.
Okay.
And then I think when it says in conjunction with library staff, I think what you share with the board, if you share it with the staff, I think that basically takes care of that objective.
Okay.
Because you've been handling that really well and putting information out to everybody.
Okay.
I think if you just include staff, that
Okay.
and write up your
Just the
process,
process of how to do it.
and then that one would be completed.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
And I will go out on a limb and say, in 3.2, since I do homeschool, create a homeschool committee, if there's any way I can be involved in that, I got some ideas of reaching out to the homeschool community within Brandon.
And now I will tell you, I thought don't know if this was the most updated Liz checklist for us, but I thought that they had worked on that in the first 0 to 2 years, and they've had a committee and they worked with the homeschooling group.
Okay.
But I don't know if that is considered completed or not, but I will let Shauna know. She's managing the assignments on that, so I will let her know that you're interested to work on that.
Yeah, and if it's done, I would be interested in getting the backstory of
Sure.
like what group and stuff like that.
Okay. And I think that was it, because Heather had asked last month specifically about objective 1 for the board, so that sort of takes care of that agenda item, I think, if everyone's in agreement.
All right, the next item, actually, these are two related agenda items. To rescind the COVID-19 preparedness and response plan and the reopening policy and plan. Rebecca?
Yeah, basically, on the day of or the evening of our board meeting last month, June 22nd, MDHHS did actually rescind these two, but we didn't have it prepared, obviously, for the board packet. So we're just basically officially asking you to vote to rescind both plans officially, so that's why we're here.
Okay. Discussion, questions?
Move to rescind.
Both?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we do both together?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the next item is the parking lot RFP recent bid. There's a lot of information there. I understood a little bit of it. Cheryl, I talked to Rebecca today, and she said that you were going to go through this. She threw you to the wall.
Sure. As you know, we need our parking lot redone. We had borings done to see what the base looked like and to see how strong it was and whether we'd have to redo the base. And in the meantime, we had sent out for a bid from several different engineering firms regarding going forward with this and then putting out bids for actual construction. And we got surprised a little bit with some additional costs that we didn't think were actually necessary, some additional engineering costs and that type of thing, since we're not putting in a new parking lot, but it's actually an existing one. So we reached out to, I reached out to somebody that I happen to know in this construction, and he came out and looked at it and gave us a bid and gave us kind of a breakdown of what needs to be done and how he could do it. You can see there's a drawing, nice colored drawing, that shows you what each of these things that are on the list mean. And the reason I brought it is just to show that based on this, I think it's time that we go out we create an RFP and then we go out for bids. Obviously, we're not just going to take, one person, because this is a very large project. But I think based on this, he said that all the work can be done without additional engineering costs to do it. So I think if we go out for bid and we get the same response from other contractors, that we would save close to about $50,000.
Do you think we'll be able to get multiple bids?
Well, we're bidding for spring. We're not bidding for now because obviously, and even for spring, we're getting down to the wire, which is why we thought we better get out there soon. So if anyone else wants to, first of all, we need to approve that, yes, we want to prepare an AFP. We would bring it back to the board to actually approve what the AFP is going to look like. But they should give us approval to move ahead and get one prepared. And if somebody else wants to work with Rebecca and I in doing that, I should say Rebecca, Kathleen, and I. Because Kathleen will be very much a part of this.
I know Kathleen should be out there watching every step.
So first of all, we need to approve, actually putting an RFP together and then approve, well, we don't have to approve, but if somebody else wants to volunteer to work on this, we would welcome the assistance.
Does anyone have a question or comment for Cheryl or?
This is a crazy question, but what's an AFP? Or is it RFP? What did you say?
An RFP.
RFP,
Yeah.
what is that?
It's request for proposal.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I had to think for a minute. I just always say RFP, RFP. Yeah, request for a proposal, and that's typically what you would do to get bids on the project. And then based on what the bid looks like, and what the contract looks like, then you can decide who you would want to go with.
So what you're saying here is Allied is just a sample.
Yes.
This is not your proposal that we go with Allied.
Correct.
I have a question, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Is there a reason why we would need engineering versus not engineering? I mean, obviously there's a really big cost difference, but we had, what, 3 companies, I think it was, that all felt we needed the engineering. Is there, I mean, what's the difference? I mean, obviously, other than cost, what's the difference?
Well, I don't know if they thought we needed engineering, or if that's kind of what we had talked about having.
Okay.
But based on this, and from what I can discern, based on the layout of the parking lot, and they would be working on the drainage and all of that, I just don't see that we would need engineering.
Okay.
So, and they guarantee their work, and, you know, that's what we would look for.
Okay. But it's not going to turn into, you know, we have to do this again in a couple of years and again in a couple of years.
No.
Or anything like that if we don't do the engineering.
I know this company is MDOT pre-qualified.
Okay.
They do a lot of huge projects.
Okay.
So this would be something they would, if we would pick somebody this size, they're gonna just fit us in whenever, you know, suddenly work stops on something else they're doing for a few days, so they come out and work on ours type thing.
Okay.
They're doing all of Oxford High School right now.
Yeah.
Oh, huge project.
And also, I would like to,
What can you decide at a time?
Sorry.
Thank you. That's fine.
I just was going to say I would like to be involved.
Oh, good. Did the engineering thing come up when the whole well thing was going on? Is that like where it originated from? Or no, off base there?
No, we had just asked, how do we
Like a limit?
redo the construction of the parking lot? And we started out with the borings because we wanted to make sure we had a solid base to go from.
Okay.
And even if you read over this proposal, I mean, they would strip everything down. They would still assess the base once they had all of the blacktop stripped off. The base would be recompacted, you know, so everything, the percentage of tilt for the drainage and all that would be figured out.
Thank you.
Just a comment, Tiffany. When we received a bid from another company, and I don't remember what it was, there were all of these items listed, and then the conversation was right at the bottom was a single line item that said, you know, plus engineering costs. And when we went back and asked how much is that, it was $45,000.
It was a lot. Yeah.
45,000 plus.
Plus,
Yeah.
you know, perhaps.
Okay.
And so at that point, there was a discussion to go back and
Revisit things.
right.
And kind of talk to an expert and find out what their opinion was, whether we needed to go through all that.
Thank you for your hard work with that. Appreciate it, and thank you for volunteering.
Any other questions? Comments? So can I have a motion to approve the writing of an RFP for the parking lot renovation?
So moved.
Tiffany?
Second, Susan?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We didn't need to do a roll call because we're not spending money on preparing the RFP. Okay? The next item, the revised employee acknowledgement form. Rebecca?
Yeah, we're bringing this to you because we are making it an electronic access point for staff to view the personnel policies manual. So we needed to change that language. We then had it vetted by the attorney, and he added number 6. So that's basically what that part is. That's the acknowledgement form. Now on the following page, one of the things I do want to add, just for clarity, is in the first paragraph on page 51, where it says at the bottom of the paragraph, first paragraph, it says, I will ask questions about any issues or areas I do not understand. We're going to insert, I will ask administration questions about any issues or areas I do not understand, just for clarification for the employee. And we're just asking to have that approved.
So you're gonna insert that line.
Yeah, we'll insert administration
Okay.
and on page 51, yeah.
Move to approve as amended.
So moved.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's getting ahead of me. I'm sorry, that was Tiffany? Cheryl?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The annual report, Cheryl, good job.
Well, I was hoping Shauna would be here to present it, since this is really her hard work. I give her a few numbers to put in here, and she does the whole thing, lays it all out, and gathers all of the other information, but it's really a great, we worked very diligently last year and this year to put this together on a one-pager that we could, obviously if somebody wants more information than what you see on here, they're welcome to that, we can get that for them, but this kind of gives everybody a one-page photo of here's what your library is doing, and here's how many people are using the library, and what our collection looks like, and how many items we have in our collection, and all of that type of thing, and our websites. And at the bottom you'll see we added this year the COVID-19 services that we provided, including the curbside pickup and the text messages that we were doing for patrons so that they could still make use of the library materials. And on the right-hand side, near the bottom, you'll see our revenues and expenditures showing in a pie formation. So, but great job by Shauna and, well, somebody else.
Paige.
Paige.
Also,
And
yes.
Paige helped work on the layout too. And they do a fabulous job.
Questions or comments? I have a question. Can we include this in our fall brochure that goes out? Is that something that you
Are you talking about the newsletter?
Right, the newsletter?
Yes, we could, but I think the next one will go out in December, I think.
Oh, okay.
But we can certainly do that, so.
Or maybe a better idea is to put it in the newspaper. Well, we can talk about possibilities, but that's a lot of work and it really looks good, and I'd like to figure out how to take advantage.
Yeah, it'll be on our website as well. I do share it with the township and the village, but yeah, we can put it in the newsletter. Sure.
And we need a motion to accept our annual report.
So moved. Jan?
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, committee reports, professional development. Jan and I met with Heather and Susan a number of times, and I think we hit the, all of the major items that are kind of standard in the handbook, the Michigan handbook. We got lots of questions, lots of discussion. I think Jan and I feel that we kind of covered everything. If you guys are comfortable with where we are, you can always ask questions. But, anyway, it was the first time. So,
I think what we're saying is, we're not going to schedule a meeting, but if you two ever wanted to, as, I'm not going to say newbies, but if you want to, we are certainly open to it.
Okay.
Okay?
and we did submit a information for the strategic plan of the specific items that we covered. And going forward, we'll see if that's adequate. Okay. Friends, Jan.
We did not meet in July. We will meet in August. I do know we have one or two people filling out the online forms to join, so we're growing. So I will have a report next month.
Student liaison. Oh, I'm sorry, does anybody have questions for Dan? Okay. Susan.
Student liaison, well, I'll probably be more into this next month because of the email we got. I was a little confused who Taylor was. I'm like, I don't know who Taylor is. But I think there's some things I would like to, our group to talk about, to see what we did in the past to develop the group. That obviously, if Taylor didn't know we had it, we probably could work on marketing the idea a little better. But also just some other ideas to include maybe some other kids that were excluded before in order to expand the committee. So for those who don't know, we're trying to get kind of a student liaison group that's going to be between the high schoolers or the teens in the library, trying to come up with ideas, and we had another volunteer for the group, so that's great. But I think I definitely would like to schedule a meeting with Shauna, yourself, and myself, talk about a few things. Rebecca?
Did you want to hold off on, do you want to open it up to applications again then? Is that what you want to do, rather than to just fast track?
I personally know of two, maybe three kids that are under the age that we were looking for. They're freshmen and sophomores, and they're super duper excited about wanting to be part of the library. So one of the things I want to kind of discuss is maybe make it high schoolers in order to expand it. So I wasn't really sure, because that decision was made prior to me, so I don't really know why it was juniors and seniors.
Because it's part of the strategic plan, but that would have to be voted, you would have to vote to change that then, because that is part of the strategic plan, that it was juniors and seniors. So you
So
don't
maybe
have,
we need
you
to-
all have to decide that.
Okay. So maybe we could put that on next month. It's just something I think I got some great ideas from a couple of these kids that are sophomores, and I thought they could really contribute to the committee if we decide to do that.
Someone else have a comment or question? So my question is, or my concern is, our first time out, we ended up with a young woman who's very much involved in the library world. Now we have Taylor, who is, again, involved in the library world. Her mother was a trustee. And so I'm wondering why we're not expanding this, why we didn't get other volunteers. Did we not do a good enough job of letting them know?
That's what I'm wondering. Well, personally, when we were put these applications out, I know somebody with a daughter who was too young. Her mom's like, oh my, she'd be all over that, because she loves the library, she loves reading, she loves it all. And then I happened to have a chance to talk to her recently about some things, and I think maybe we need to, include maybe just a year or two younger.
In my case, I'm the one that talked to Taylor's mom, and it was just word of mouth. It was just conversation. Taylor fits the bill and the strategic plan because is she a junior or senior?
She'll be a senior.
She's a senior coming up. I think it's wonderful that you found some others. I think we should, my view at the moment is just to stick with the strategic plan, but keep these people in our back pocket. And if they're excited now, man, in another year or so, they fit right in.
Our strategic plan, though, to my understanding when this was set up, was to have more of a committee, and 2 doesn't really make a committee, so I was just thinking we could have 3 or 4 or 5.
Oh, I thought our strategic plan was 1 senior and 1 junior. Is that
Right, there's 2 different things you're talking about.
Oh,
Because there
okay.
is
I'm
the
talking
board liaison. That is junior and senior, we have 2 of them, so that's what Taylor would be fulfilling.
Right.
Then as far as the getting feedback from, because I know that you went out and tried to get high school students to be on the committee, a junior advisory board, the JAB, and didn't get any responses. So I think they would fit the JAB, requirements, but not the liaison pieces. That
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I was,
Right, because the liaison's more like, I feel like business center, it's meant for more like mature, older students, not to say that a sophomore can't be.
so liaison would work with Jeff.
You all had drafted that statement. We don't have it obviously here right now, but that's what the plan was that,
What I remember being sent out in the email was what we wrote. I was on my phone, so I couldn't read it really super well, but was the original application, I thought, for JAB, and that we didn't get the volunteers, so we only got 1 person, so we said, well, JAB's not gonna work, because it's not a committee, so we'll make her the student liaison. So that's where I thought we were at, but then, so I wasn't really sure. I just happened to be talking to some of the kids who kind of were, wanted to be involved, and I was thinking, well, maybe we could get JAB going for a little bit younger group.
right, so, we can go back and I can have staff try to recruit again for the JAB, but I think I need to understand where you want to go with the liaison then, if you're wanting to, because I have the application form that I can give to Taylor, but I need to know if that's what you want us to do. And then we can always try to recruit again for the junior advisory board.
Which is, I think we were talking about doing it in the fall anyways.
Well, that was going to be because Claire and Fran were going to start working on getting feedback from the younger people in our community.
Right.
That is what they were going to start working on. So we need to know if you want to go in a different direction, we would need to, because I'm not sure, I don't think Fran has started that work yet with Claire, but we would need to adjust that if that's the direction.
Jan, I think you had a comment.
I just wanted a comment. I don't know enough about what you've done with JAB, and it really sounds fabulous, but I think the liaison, they could work with JAB, but they definitely work with the board. Their position is to work with the board, and they attend our board meetings starting in the fall. So we could do both and not change the strategic plan
Right.
that way.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
But the committee works with the liaison, the liaison works with the board, so it's kind of well trickled, because you can have as many people as you want really on a committee.
Right.
And that can be any age, because why not have 7 eds population, just the one.
Yeah.
So, from all different
Good,
areas.
I think we're good.
I have a question now. When we originally contacted the high school, I assume, how did the communication actually go out to all of the high school students?
That was something that I thought was done by Shauna in the previous,
Well,
because I did not make I did not make a connection with the high school on that.
Yeah, because I thought it was you, Claire, and, Grace,
Grace.
and Shauna that did that.
Yeah, we talked about it, and then, to my understanding, Shauna and Grace were going to get with the principal over there, and I assume that that's what took place.
Well, maybe the committee needs to meet again
Yeah.
and figure it out and come back to the board with a recommendation.
Sure.
and I would like to see something more structured,
Yes.
so that everybody, that all students have an opportunity to at least consider it.
Right.
So we'll hear from you next month?
Sure.
Okay.
Flyers up all around the high school.
Then what are?
Of course, nobody's there right now.
What will we do with Taylor? Can we,
Well, she
Give
could
her
be
the
the senior,
paperwork?
right?
pardon me?
She'd be the senior.
That's what I mean, we can give her the paperwork then. Okay, just checking.
Yeah, I mean, she needs the
Because our-
qualification for student liaison, so we can still accept her application.
Claire is a junior, so that's perfect.
This is perfect, yeah.
Okay, any more comments, questions? Oh,
Okay, so,
advocacy, I'm sorry.
advocacy, that's key. So there's another big push for the Build America's Libraries. There was stuff that came out through, I think it was ALA. Was it ALA? Sure.
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. So I put out another bid to Alyssa Slotkin and Gary Peters, and the name is completely falling out of my ear now. The other Stabenow, Debbie Stabenow, to get on board with some of that stuff. So I can email that stuff out for anybody that didn't get it. But another big push to try to get that to go through. In the State House and Senate, they are on summer recess right now, so not a lot is going on right now. The Senate Bill 130, which I talked about last month, hasn't come out of committee yet. So there's a decent chance that it may not, since it's been this long, but I'll keep an eye on it and see what's going on there. There's also another bill that was introduced in the House. This is House Bill 4536. And basically, so I guess I have a question because I don't know the answer and I'm not really sure where to look. What this bill would do essentially is, there's two bills. The first one will take, where motor vehicles are not allowed on snowmobile routes, and there will be a fine imposed if they do. Now that would add to the penal fines, which is why it's important for libraries specifically. But the second bill, what it does is basically make it so that the penal fines from that go to grooming the trails and all that kind of stuff instead of to libraries. Do all penal fines go to libraries? Do any of you know the answer to that? Or I'm just kind of, before I reach out to some of the legislators, I'd like to understand that a little bit better.
We'd have to get a response. I'm not sure if all go,
Okay.
but
I was just, is there some place that I can look that up?
Um,
According to the MLA, that's in the Michigan Constitution that the penal fines go to libraries specifically.
Yeah,
I just
the
wasn't sure.
person to check with is Claire Mambiella with the Library of Michigan. We can
Okay.
give you that email address. She's the legal legal consultant for the Library of Michigan.
Okay, and that's been on the news.
And there might even be an answer out there that I can find, but I'll be
Okay,
clear.
I just wasn't really sure where exactly to look for that. Okay. And that's MLA, you said?
It's Library Michigan.
Oh, Library Michigan, okay.
And Claire is really good. If you send a fairly complete email to her, what you're looking for,
Okay,
she will respond.
okay. Thank you. That's all I got for that.
Okay, the next,
Can I ask her a question?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I apologize.
As long as you're gonna call Claire, can you ask her something? There are federal funds that are going to come out to the townships, and they're fairly
Okay, yeah.
substantial.
Mhm.
And what we're hearing right now is they're to be used for infrastructure.
Okay.
And since the township owns this building, including the parking lot, our township is going to get, I called our supervisor about, well, the number right now they're kicking around is about $1.6 million. Some of it may go to the village, but he wasn't sure how much.
Okay,
But not as substantial, maybe, he thought maybe 300,000, something like that.
okay,
There would still be $1.3 million kicking around.
okay. So we're looking at maybe whatever it costs for.
Yeah, I just wanted to find out if it's possible that we're, since we're a PA 164 library,
Okay,
and the township actually owns the property,
okay.
you know, if some of those funds can be used, could be used for parking lot.
Okay, certainly, yes.
Okay. That's my question. Okay. Any other ideas that we've missed?
That's a good, while we're on the phone.
Well, I figured since you're making that phone call, I
Yeah,
guess.
for sure.
Okay, the next item is the Budget and Fund Balance Committee, and Cheryl.
We are obviously working on it. We already talked about where we're at on the budget. We will be hopefully determining our fund balance and what we need to reserve in our fund balance for capital expenditures like parking lot, that type of thing. Hopefully in October, hopefully we can get some of the bids back sometime within October, so we may not do the fund balance to November. But hopefully we'll be looking at that in that time frame, so we can recommend an amount to do. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments or questions for Cheryl?
Are you talking about setting money aside?
Yep.
Restricting money? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Okay, the last committee report is evaluations.
We're done.
Good job.
Yeah, so last month, I presented to the, well, I wasn't here, but the question they presented to the board, and there was no objection to any of those. That was sent out to the entire staff. They were given a couple weeks to return those responses to me, so this is everything I've gotten. I've got nothing new since then. I think I got 14 or 15 responses. How many staff members do you?
At the time we would have sent that out, would have been 16.
Oh, okay, so nearly everyone.
So we've had,
Okay.
at least the first one was 15 responses. That's really good.
And nothing too surprising. Everything that you see here is verbatim from their responses that was given via Google form. You'll see like an asterisk if you took names out just to make it more anonymous and whatever. I did collect names if there was anything I needed to follow up on with our staff member, but I kept those anonymous as well as per the agreement, so. Any questions on anything in here? I will say that the majority of the responses, I think you'll see too, a lot of them said that they would like to see more outreach being done, reaching out to in some way. It was really difficult this year with COVID. I actually think the library did a pretty good job with the take-home kits and all of that. And then communication as it trickles down from management. So those were the two like major items they felt like we could work on.
Thank you, Tiffany. I know that was a big job.
No, it's not that. Google Form actually helped make it a lot easier. Just to collect the responses and put it all in one place. I would like to try to do it for our own evaluations and for the evaluations of the because it just, instead of getting the typed responses and having to do it myself, it just does it for you. So maybe a new way to try to do things.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay. The director's report, staff reports.
Yeah, it's abbreviated. I had some family health emergencies over the last few weeks, and so I apologize that my report is abbreviated. And it actually had another bullet point because I was going to continue, but I ran out of time. So there's another emergency I had to attend to. So, but Kathleen's report is there as well as going into staff reports. So.
Okay. What I'd like to do is give you each a chance to make any comments or ask questions regarding the staff reports. You want to start?
Sure. Amazing that we're getting all of this done. I mean, the list and list and list of what they talk about they're doing is great. But the thing that I really like the most is you can tell when staff is writing about things that they're working on that they're excited about it. And I think that, you know, that's fabulous because you get somebody excited about what they're doing and they're going to do more and better. And I love that about it.
Someone else?
Just a great job. I mean, looking through this, they're definitely busy. So I'm very impressed with all the hard work. Good staff.
You know me, I like all the kid stuff, so it's nice to see that they're doing the stuffed animal thing and the gem finding. It's really cool to get little ones involved in learning to love the library at a young age. I think that's cool.
Well, I had to Google Sparks with that, because I'm like, what? They get to go there? I'm jealous, but I'm very, very proud that we are going to be represented there, the Association of Rural and Small Libraries. I think that's fabulous. I know they will do a wonderful job. I can't wait to hear about it after they return. And a staff cookbook, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that. Do we get to put something in there too, as board? Can we?
Yeah, that's my program, absolutely.
Oh, good. Okay.
Jan's really good cook.
Sometimes, yeah. This locker proposal, where would these lockers be?
They would just be up front here. So the idea is to have 24-hour access. So if you...
They'd be outside
They
then?
would be outside the library so that if you couldn't make it to the library before we closed, you'd be able to access your holds that way. And the nice thing about the system that we're looking at, that we're applying for a grant to get it, and also because the grant pays out up to $15,000. The quote that we have is, I think, $17,500, something like that, and the Friends have already agreed that they would cover the additional cost of it. If we don't get the grant, we could still fund it with the support of the Friends, so either way we're going to get them. The company we want to work with, it's about a 12-week period of time that you have to wait to get them, but we would have them installed up here, and they work with your library card. So you would just be able to, all automated.
Oh my gosh, how clever is
Are they going to be
that?
in a spot where they'll come through with the snow and all the crap?
Yeah, it'll be under the toilet
Crap.
So, nobody wants to shovel around it, so. And it's nice because they're raised also, so they're because I always said, my stuff would always end up on the very bottom shelf, right? And so this way, it's actually, they're raised.
Oh, cool.
So it should be, in
Oh,
terms of anybody with
goodness.
any disabilities, it'll be easily accessible.
That's great.
I love it.
So stay
Also, I just wanted to say, this has been my favorite summer reading program. I know you're not the first to hear that said. I just wanted to thank all the staff for their input, and I know everybody's working hard. I know Fran ran all over the township because I took my granddaughter and her little friend all over the township so we could find all these animals. They had a blast. They got into it. They wore their hats. You know, and we just had so much fun with that. And even what's the Facebook page, just answering all those questions on Facebook has been, you have to think deep. You know, who was your favorite author, or who was your favorite character? You know, I'm like, oh, I haven't thought about that in years, you know, but it's just been so much fun. So I just really, really appreciate all that our staff has done. Anyway, that's what I have to say.
Well, I think that's about it. You covered all of mine. I could just say as a business, we're having a really fun time with people walking around trying to find the business
Yeah.
too. Because
I know. I'm
like,
like, do I go back here?
Well,
Which driver
I
should I
wanted it to
use?
be an actual safari.
It was, and so we're creeping back there in the car. I said, there it is! So they jumped out of the car, they're running to find what animal it is, got their hats are flying off, they're trying to keep them on their head. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's been really fun, and seeing all of the kids come up to the window, it's been really fun too. I can like,
bet.
oh hey, more library people are here. It's been fun.
And then silly me, we only had Cook's Dairy, which is just out, you know, far enough away. And it was morning. I said, girls, you know, let's go have lunch, then we'll go to Cook's Dairy. They said, we don't have to. Process of elimination, Grandma. You know, one left. I'm like, oh. So.
Well, as always, I went through the report, and I want to sit here and read the whole thing, but I would probably get a few objections. But just Kathleen, getting all of the lights changed and getting those quotes and following up on care of the building. An amazing job, and thanks for getting that fire and security panel taken care of. Good job. I was really interested in your response to the anti-racist library service training. Thank you for doing that, and I'd love to have you share with us sometime. Sarah's group, we actually have, you know, one of our new employees there, Shira, is it? Shira? Okay. Already involved in purchasing. The CD collection has been eliminated, and that's gone to the FOL. That was a big job, I know. Alyssa McCarty. Okay, so in 2.5 weeks, okay. 2.5 weeks, you already have been involved in 6 take and make programs, the adopt a stuffed animal program, your cookbook, planning for library sign up, youth, let's see, working on combining the youth and the adult departments. I would like to know what took you so long. That's an amazing amount of work and projects, and welcome. We haven't had a chance to say welcome
Yeah,
to you.
thank you. I'm really happy so far. I'm loving it. Everyone's been great, and I'm excited. So
Well, we are excited
thanks
to
for
have
having
you.
me. Thank you.
And Shauna, of course, Shauna's ability to take on a project and do the analysis and work through the entire thing is just amazing. I know the locker project was very much Shauna. Kate, of course, is no longer here, but we want to thank Kate for the smooth transition that she did, and we wish her the best. Kara, learning to do editing of the story time, very involved in the scavenger hunt and the summer reading program, and of course, Jessie, the genealogy program, and yes, the Wolfman video, of course. Diala's story. Pages, activities with the Facebook. I mean, look at the additional response and the active participation there. And Fran, of course, all of her story times, the dial a book, and Andrew, the TikTok, and one of these days somebody's going to have to explain to me what TikTok is and what to do with it. But anyway. And as always, they don't make the pages, but our staff, Sue and Jenny and Denise and Michael, they are the face of the library. When you walk in, they're always there and they're so helpful, and again, I want to thank them. So.
And I want to throw Judy also in there, who's our shelter, and she does a phenomenal job of keeping the library clean and organized, which that is the foundation of everything, so very good.
Thank you. Okay, library statistics, anybody have questions or comments? Calendar review for August.
Oh, I saw it.
Okay, Jan, you know that in August we do the meeting for the millage.
The thing we read.
I read that, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Right.
So are we going to set up a special meeting at 4:30?
It's at 4, it's on the bottom, it's at 4:45.
Oh, it's here.
Oh, I'm sorry, 4:45.
You'll have that for me, Kathleen, right?
Okay. So the meeting will start at 4:45. There will actually be two separate meetings. There will be that meeting, and then we'll start at 5 o'clock.
So we should be here at 4:45?
Right.
Okay, before 4.
She just has to read this piece.
Okay.
Okay,
It's like 2 minutes.
okay.
Start the director evaluation. Do we need to select a new committee this year?
Okay, gosh.
What? I think, did you have that last year?
I think no, director evaluation, that was, the old 2 board members, so you do need 2
Okay.
members.
Okay.
I did the board evaluations, right?
Okay.
Yes.
You're going
I'd
to
be
do.
happy if you did all of them.
Okay, how about if I take the director evaluation? Can I
And
do
the
that?
other member, I believe, they did send over their template and stuff.
Do we have that
I
information?
believe so. So if you want help and you want to try a Google form thing this time, I can definitely input those questions for you, so I can do that with you.
Okay, thank you.
I got a little time. Just kidding.
Since when? Okay, any other items? Okay, to our people who have joined us this evening, this is the time for public comment on items that were not on the agenda. Anything else you would like to ask, or issues you would like to raise? Thank you for coming. It's good to see you all here.
And we have a lectern if anybody wants to speak.
Okay. Any items on hold? items for next agenda.
The RFP for the parking.
Okay.
Sure.
And then should we have those evaluation forms done and presented?
Right.
Okay.
Are you going to work on the board evaluation form into Google Docs too?
Do we need a couple of people working on these, or, like, you said the two board members did the director, you might, are we only doing one person then, or, I don't know what this entails. so.
You know what, and I apologize, Tiffany.
I kind of inserted myself in there.
Okay.
So I got to do the last two.
Where we do have to do one second public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the intro, I've never done this before. So, I'm Molly Barrett McCartney, and I wanted to come in today and thank all of you and our library staff for being so inclusive of all of our patrons and all of our community members. It was recently Pride Month, and I know that you had books that you shared online and that you shared here in the library to bring attention to the many people that we have right here in our community that might need support, that aren't receiving it either at home, in their workplace, from their families. And I just think it is the most amazing thing that we can offer, bringing the subject up, because it's hard for people to talk about having an LGBT QIA plus person in their life. And I think knowledge is power. Used to be an early childhood educator. I'm a proud parent of a transgender son who's in his 20s. He works at a library in Ohio and he's going to school. And I just think people going to the library to pick up these materials is not only a lifeline for them and their families, but to see these materials out is priceless because it lets the whole community know this is okay to talk about. And, you know, it's a great way to support. When they say that Gen Z, which is from 6 to 18, they say 1 in 6 Gen Zers identify somewhere on the spectrum. Brandon Schools alone is like 2,200 students or something like that. That would mean you guys, along with the schools and along with the rest of the community, have the opportunity to help 300 kids or 300 families feel better about their family situation. And I think that is an awesome thing that you guys can do. And I just wanted to say thank you for being there for everybody in our community and supporting them. And 3 minutes is never enough to speak, but I'm very open, I'm very proud. It's taken me years to get to this point, and I'm happy to speak with anybody if they have any questions. So.
Thank you. Okay, any other items? Okay, it is.
I would like to comment to what she said.
Oh, sure. Would you like
May
to?
I'm good from here. And I respect that you have that view for your family, and that's completely fine. But it should be up to the parents.
Sure.
And if that's your family's view, that's why we live in America. So again, as far as my email, I'm Aurelia Nanu, I never concretely got an answer if there could be a designated area for these types of books.
Can I respond? Or
No.
I don't know the rules. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a conversation,
Okay.
okay? It's a comment, but thank you. Were you finished? Was there anything else you had to say? Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
And I'd be happy to have a conversation with you later if you like.
I don't need to have a conversation,
Okay.
but
Okay. It's 6:05. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.